Yes. Perfect. Okay. So I'll just start again. Okay. Welcome to Social Media 101 for Business. Um, so I'll go ahead and get kicked off. Oops. Okay. So hi everyone. So my name is Natalie. So I'm a digital marketing manager. I have over 6 years of experience in the industry. My past clients include brands like Dove, Dr. Scholl's, Degree, Seventh Generation, and so on and so forth. But my real passion is going ahead and working with small businesses to go and help them build their online presence and their brand. So that's why I'm here today, to go ahead and to present to you guys. So I'll just go ahead and kick it off. We only have about an hour and a half. So before we go ahead and get started, I just want to go ahead and reassure you guys before we go ahead and start on this journey, for anybody who's new to social media, that a fear of posting on social media is completely normal. That's something that even me as a marketer had to go ahead and overcome when I first got into the field. So you just have to remember that, first off, nobody starts out perfect when going ahead and posting to social media. Everyone has to start somewhere, and improvement comes with time and with practice. It really is something that you just consistently just have to go ahead and just show up for. And again, every time that you show up, it doesn't have to be perfect. So you can start small, experiment, see what resonates with your audience, and gradually build your confidence over time. It'll come over time. And one thing that I always like to go ahead and keep in mind, just to help keep myself honest and keep the nerves down, is to think of posting onto social as more of a conversation than as a performance. I find that a lot of my clients go ahead and, view it as kind of just like, this, you have to show up on the stage and, all these people are going ahead and watching you, but it helps to go ahead and think of it more as you going ahead and sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and your passion about your business, rather than having to be on the stage on the spotlight. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so with that out the way, I'll cover over the workshop structure for today. So we're going to cover over the benefits of social media. Then we'll go ahead and dive into the social media landscape and a really good deep dive there onto the social platforms next, followed by understanding your audience, then posting tips and strategies. And then finally, I'll have a few resources and guides for you to go ahead and to take home with you today. So hopefully you can get some tangible value out of this. So we'll start off with the benefits. I'm sure a lot of you go ahead and already know the benefits of social media, but first off, social media for your business. Why should you have it? So you can reach way more customers than you could just face-to-face. There's only so many people that you can go ahead and talk to one-on-one at one time. Social media is a way for you to go ahead and broadcast your business to way more people. The reach is unbelievable across all platforms. There's billions of people out there, and depending on if your business is local or if it's an international or national business, regardless, you're going to go ahead and get way more reach for your business. Next, it really creates top of mind awareness with potential customers. And what I mean by that is, you might go ahead and have a conversation with a person and, talk about your business, and it's fantastic, it's great. And they have that conversation, in tow, but moving forward with their day or throughout their week, they might not necessarily go ahead and think about your business again, unless they see something that goes ahead and triggers that thought about your business, which is exactly what social media is. It's a good tool for. It really goes ahead and helps to create that kind of like, oh, right, I forgot about that business, that kind of moment where you go ahead and come to a person's mind over the course of the week, the month. So it really goes ahead and helps to just remind people that, your business exists. It's also really cost-effective ways of marketing. Traditional marketing, back in the day, I mean, it's still around now, but it's become a lot more diverse and more digital leaning. But back in the day, TV ads, run for millions, thousands of dollars. Same thing with, magazines. But nowadays, the everyday person can go and access social media advertising, really cost effective. You can go ahead and advertise for as low as $2 a day on most platforms. So it really goes ahead and it's very cost effective. And then finally, it goes ahead and helps you connect with your customers and build loyalty. Having those conversations with people, let's say, you have a customer who's, out of state. You know, you can go ahead and you don't necessarily have to go ahead and dial and pick up the phone and have to try to go ahead and, you know, fly a plane to go ahead and meet these people across the way. You can go ahead and just access them with the tip of your hands. You know, someone can go ahead and follow you on social, and you can go ahead and you can message them, you can comment, you can reply to their post, they can reply to your post. So it's a really good way to go ahead and help connect with your customers, even if you aren't face to face. So yeah, so those are some of the benefits. Now we'll go ahead and get into some of the nitty gritty. So here is kind of a snapshot of the social media landscape. Social media landscape in the sense of some of the platforms that I feel are most beneficial to business owners. There are other ones that I'm not going to go ahead and cover as in depth in this presentation, like Pinterest and X, formerly known as Twitter. But these are the ones we'll be going ahead and covering today. So hopefully that goes ahead and touches upon most of the platforms that you're interested in. If there are any that you are interested in that I haven't covered, you can always go ahead and type this in the chat or, you know, email me. We'll have office hours, which I'll cover later in the slides, and we can talk about them one-on-one. But these are the main ones we're going to cover today. So we have Facebook. Facebook, I like to think Facebook, the first thing comes to mind when I think about Facebook is scaling and connecting. So Facebook's one of the largest social media platforms out there. A lot of people think that Facebook is going ahead and is on the outs. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize how many people go ahead and use Facebook globally, especially. So it is one of the largest, it stays one of the largest, and it's a very diverse user base. Then comes Instagram. When I think of Instagram, I think about interests and inspiring. You know, it's a very visually oriented platform, focusing mainly on photo and video sharing. Then moving on to TikTok, you have the latest trends. It's a super rapidly growing platform known for short form video content. It's one of the new kind of like pioneers in the field, and it's growing more and more every day, especially within Gen Z audiences. Then next you have LinkedIn, which is known for networking. It's a professional networking platform for career development and industry insights. And then finally, you have YouTube. YouTube, when I think about YouTube, while there is other things alongside it for YouTube, it's education. So it's the largest video sharing platform, even ahead of TikTok as of now, with a vast audience and diverse content. So again, very educational based, but you have both long form and short videos. TikTok, you do have long form and short form, but it's very more heavily short form, and they've only just started going ahead and promoting and increasing the long form content. So, but yeah, so very brief breakdown of the platforms we'll be touching on today. Here is a deeper dive on those platforms. So I've broken these slides up into two. So this is a social platform breakdown in terms of consumers, and then we have a little more of a business-oriented slide. So Facebook, in terms of the age, demographics, personal usage, and top interest on the platform. So age is about 25 to 54. So it's very broad. It's very balanced between male and female. For personal usage, most people go ahead and go on Facebook for building and keeping relations. And the top interest there being keeping up with family and friends, community events, which I'm going to emphasize the community aspect and the local aspect of Facebook as we get ahead and go deeper into the slides. And then news and entertainment. So these things are something you want to go and keep in mind when it comes to your business and about what platforms you want to show up on. You know, you can't be on every single social platform. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. I feel like you'd be spreading yourself way too thin. So you really want to go ahead and try to hone in on about like 2 to 3 different platforms. Maybe even just start off with one platform and then branch off into 2. That you really want to go ahead and be on and that your audience is on. So thinking about your target audience and where they fit into this chart, you know. So with that being said, moving on to Instagram. Instagram skews a little bit younger, so it's 18 to 34. The gender there, it's slightly more female than male. And for personal users, most people use it for, you know, conversation, you know, think about like, you know, Instagram DMs and sharing memes with friends, and also for inspiration, you know, think about those Instagram worthy moments. And then the top interests on the platform include fashion, beauty, travel, fitness, food, lifestyle, and entertainment. The interests are really good for going ahead and honing in kind of, again, like thinking about where your business might fit in. So, if your business fits into anywhere of these top interests, it might be a good platform for you to go ahead and to leverage. Then moving on to TikTok, the youngest skewing out of the bunch at 16 to 24, slightly more female than male, similar to Instagram. The main purpose for people, use this on TikTok is entertainment. And the top interest there being music, dance, food, comedy, DIY projects, and viral trends. Then in a very different matter, LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is around the same demographics as Facebook, to age 25 to 54, except they lead slightly more male than female. Its personal usage is mostly news, articles, and networking, specifically professional networking. And the top interest there being networking, career development, industry news, and insights. And then finally, you have YouTube, which has probably, I would say, the broadest audience out there, the most diverse. It's ranging from 18 to 49. Gender there being slightly more male than female. Personal usage would be for education and entertainment. The top interest are education, entertainment, music, gaming, vlogs, and tutorials. Okay, so a little bit of consumer breakdown. Feel free to take a screenshot if you need to really quick. But if no one has any questions, and that's it, I'll go ahead and go down to the business breakdown. So for here, we have the business use, what it's best for in my own personal opinion, what I've gone ahead and seen from different clients and other friends in the industry, what they've gone ahead and recommended to their clients, and then limitations to each platform. So for Facebook, for the business use, it's really good for event hosting and local advertising. They have some really, really great tools when it comes to going ahead and targeting locally and also hosting events. A lot of times when I go ahead and have posts for my clients on Facebook, they'll automatically go ahead and push, you want to make this into an event? Because they love their event tools, but they are very, very good for event tools. So if you're ever promoting a product or if you're ever going ahead and hosting some kind of local community event, really good for that. And same thing for advertising. So if you have a brick or mortar location and you want to go ahead and connect with the local community, it's a very good platform to be on. I find Facebook best for, like I said, local businesses, retail, again, that brick and mortar, service-based businesses, again, local, and community-focused brands, again, all of them kind of fall underneath the local category. And then limitations. So Facebook, unfortunately, while they do have a very big user base, one downside is the fact that there's limited reach outside of your network. So it's not like Facebook is really going to automatically, push your content to people who don't follow you. Not that it won't, but it's a lot less likely compared to something like Instagram or TikTok, where they will push your content organically to people who don't necessarily follow your page off the bat, but who might have interest in your page. But Facebook, it's a lot less organic push when it comes to that. So it's just something to keep in mind. It might be a place where you might want to go ahead and leverage ads a little bit more, or go ahead and just do some more in-person work to go ahead and start to still build that network, or go ahead and branch out, in other ways to go ahead and to feed it into your Facebook page. So it's just something to keep in mind. Then moving on to Instagram, best use for is lead generation. That kind of ties back into my point when I was talking about before about how Instagram is better for organically reaching people. And by organically meaning, if you post something, Instagram will be more likely to go ahead and push your content out to people who don't follow you. Not to say that Instagram is the best. It's better than Facebook in a lot of ways, but TikTok is definitely the best in terms of lead generation and organic push to people who don't follow you. So something to keep in mind. And then e-commerce. Instagram has a shopping feature, which I love, especially if you have any type of physical product or e-commerce store. Like, definitely want to go ahead and get onto Instagram shopping if you can. It's a great way to integrate your store and just make the shopping experience a lot better for customers and have them a lot more willing coming from Instagram to purchasing your product. it makes it a lot easier to go ahead and make that purchase. So you'll go ahead and get a lot better, I'm trying to think the word, I guess a lot better, a lot easier to convert customers using the integrated shopping experience. I find Instagram best for fashion businesses, beauty, travel, food, and lifestyle brands. The only one of the limitations of Instagram is the fact that it's a very crowded space. So Instagram is a very it's one of those first kind of go-tos for a lot of businesses nowadays to go ahead and to start their presence on, especially because it's so easy to integrate Instagram into Facebook. So you can kind of have a 2-in-1 situation, which is also another good thing to keep in mind as a business owner. If you want to go ahead and diversify, your social portfolio, but you also don't necessarily have the time or the bandwidth, Facebook and Instagram link directly together. So there's a lot of times where you can directly post on Instagram from Facebook or Facebook from Instagram. So it's a lot, it's easy to transfer the two. So keep that in mind. But it is a very crowded space, Instagram. So you might have to go ahead and do a little bit more to go ahead and stand out. So again, one of the limitations. Then moving on to TikTok. Again, it's pretty similar to Instagram where, good for lead generation and e-commerce. I would say it's, again, one of the best for lead generation, just being the fact that the nature of TikTok is you have people who go ahead and make, profiles on TikTok, but not everybody's making content on TikTok. A lot of people make content on Instagram. Think about, friends and family going and posting intimate moments, what they ate for lunch today or what they made for the day. But you have a lot less of that on TikTok just because it is a video only platform. So it does take a lot more time and effort to create content. So you have less creators on the space. So it's going to be a lot easier for your content to get pushed out to other people, just simply because there's less people going ahead and posting. And they also do have a very good algorithm in terms of going ahead and, discovering kind of like what your page is about, what interests are you going ahead and pushing out and connecting those to the right customers or the right people who would be interested in your content. I find TikTok best for creative e-commerce companies, anyone who wants to go ahead and be an influencer and anything that's, Gen Z focused type of business. So lots of creative kind of visually appealing stuff. And I probably should add food onto this too, because also, local restaurants would also be a really good place for this too, because again, it's entirely video. So anything that's going to go ahead and look really good on video is going to be good for this. Limitations, I kind of alluded to it a second ago, but it's video only. So it does take a lot more effort and time to have to make content. So that's just, again, something that you want to keep in mind. Okay, and then moving on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn best use is for business development, lead generation, specifically for businesses, specifically for B2B businesses. So by B2B, I mean business to business. If you're a business selling to other businesses, or let's say if you're a professional who's selling to businesses, I guess a P2B, like a consultant or someone who goes ahead and works with organizations, more so than, consumers, individual purchases. So I kind of already touched the next point, but best for B2B companies, professional services, coaching, any type of like career coaching, life coaching type of sort of thing, and corporate brands. The limitations for LinkedIn is low trust outside of your network. So it's a professional, social media page. So a lot of times people want you to come in with some sort of credentials, some sort of industry knowledge, so they trust you, because there's a lot more skeptical. They're a lot more skeptical on LinkedIn than other social platforms. So you just want to make sure that you come in with some sort of authority, or come in, posting about, what you go ahead and know, coming in with industry knowledge and sharing the industry knowledge, which we'll again cover later in the slides. And then last but not least is YouTube. So business use is best for building trust and brand loyalty, just due to the nature of the fact that YouTube, while it's a video only format specific, similar to TikTok, there's a lot more long form content on there. So you can go ahead and provide a lot more knowledge and a lot more information, which will go ahead and help to build that trust and that loyalty amongst your audience, as opposed to TikTok, which is a shorter form. So there's only so much, information that you can fit into one video. I find YouTube best for educational businesses, anything in tech, entertainment, fitness, and DIY brands. And then the limitation there, similar to TikTok, is that fact that it's video only. While there are other tools that are video on YouTube, such as a community posts, of course, there's mostly the community posts, because I guess within the community post you have polls and stuff like that, but then you can of course make community posts without a video, but it's not like you're going to get any engagement because you're not making any actual video content. So yeah, so that's the breakdown. If anybody has any questions at all throughout the presentation, you could always pop them into the chat. I know I covered over a lot. Hopefully if anybody, you can all screenshot this, but like I said, any questions you can pop in the chat, and if not, we can save it till the end for Q&A if we have time.
Hi, Natalie. It's Kenya. There's a question in the Q&A.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, great.
Oh, let me see. Because I can only see like the little chat, but I do see the more. Oh, there's the Q&A. Okay, cool. That's great info. Is Instagram shopping or TikTok shopping separate selling platforms for what you may have to set up on a website? There's a link back to your website. Okay, great question. So Instagram shopping and TikTok shopping, there's two ways that you can go ahead and do it. I know specifically for Instagram shopping. For TikTok shopping, I have to double check. But you can have it integrated into Instagram, so it's just all within the Instagram platform, or you can go ahead and connect it to a store like a Shopify. I know Shopify is pretty integrated with most social platforms, so Shopify would probably be your best bet if you wanted to link the two of them together. But you do have the option to either sell on your website and have it linked to your website, or sell it on Instagram and have it integrated in the Instagram platform. But a lot of times if you integrate it into Instagram or to TikTok, you will be paying, Instagram or TikTok a percentage, usually of sales or a monthly type of fee or something. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're keeping it in the app versus connecting it to your store. But you do have the option of either or. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Maureen. Okay, cool. So that will move along. Okay. So these are, I would say probably are like the top social media post formats. There are other post formats like text. However, these are probably going to be the ones that are going to go ahead and do with the most bang for buck, slash are the most popular across all platforms. So first being the king of all formats, video. Almost every single social platform nowadays allows you to post video, which wasn't the case probably 5 years ago. So much has changed. So pretty much across the board, you're going to go ahead and have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, again, pretty much every platform. So you have both long and short form videos. Long form videos are mostly going to be horizontal versus short form videos are going to go ahead and be vertical. So that's something to keep in mind when you go ahead and shoot your content. A lot of platforms, they do accommodate for both. However, a lot of times it'll be funky depending on what platform that you're using. So for example, on TikTok, if you're posting a horizontal video, they're going to have major buffer black boxes on top and on the bottom of your video, which aren't super visually appealing. You can of course zoom in, but then it's you can't necessarily you can only see part of the video. So it can get a little bit hairy. So you just want to make sure your video is optimized to whatever platform you're posting and whatever format that you're posting in. So there's videos. Usually you can go ahead and pretty much talk about anything in the world, but you'll see a lot of business posts product demos, tutorials, promotional videos, and the sort. Next, there's pictures. So you can go ahead and do single images or image galleries. Another word, I know Instagram uses carousels. So that's basically when you have multiple images and you could swipe through the images, multiple images. If you were to go ahead and post pictures, I would recommend you doing image galleries. I just find that they're a lot more engaging. People are more likely and willing to go ahead and engage with galleries versus just a single image. It's just a little bit more interesting, and I feel like it gives people something to play with. So a lot more engagement for carousels. You can showcase products, behind the scenes moments, really anything. The only thing with pictures is the fact that pictures are not unfortunately compatible on TikTok and YouTube, like I mentioned earlier about them being video only. So something to keep in mind. Then there's surveys and polls. So you can go ahead and ask questions to your followers to gather feedback, foster engagement, connect to your audience. And my favorite thing about, surveys and polls, the fact that you can go ahead and get real-time feedback from customers about, like, let's say, involving them in the process of deciding, like, a new flavor, a new color variation, a new design. People love to go ahead and be a part of the process and feel like they're growing with you as a brand. It really helps to build that personal connection. So having that is a great way to go ahead and to engage with your audience and to go ahead and foster that connection. And then last, you have live streaming, which is one of those things that can be very tricky to time when it's a right thing to do for your business. They are popular. There are specific platforms like Twitch that are specifically for live streaming, but most platforms allow you to go ahead and live stream. They're just real-time video broadcast. It's great for hosting Q&A sessions, for product launches, for launch product parties, or like other live events. So it's another great strategy, especially if you're going ahead and, again, doing something like a business opening, or again, just trying to go ahead and get feedback from your audience, doing like a cool Q&A session. I do recommend going and having another person with you during your live streaming, especially at first, just to go ahead and fill in some of the dead space that you more than likely are going to go ahead and have. It comes with the territory, especially when you're first going ahead and doing something like that. So it helps to go ahead and kind of just, have somebody else there to, for the support also too. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we've covered over kind of just a brief breakdown of all the social platforms and the posting types. So now with that in mind, the next step would be to go ahead and think about your audience and how those connect to the social platforms. So you want to think about where you want to be on social and how you want to present yourself on social. So you have to knowing where your audience is, so you can tailor your account, your social media efforts effectively. You don't want to go ahead and go in there and have to, restart from scratch after you go ahead and done everything, because you realize people aren't engaging with your content. It can just be a lot of hassle to have to rejigger everything when you could just go ahead and set it up, tailored to your audience in the first place. So you want to understand their demographics, their interests, their preferences, so that way you can create content that resonates with them, leading to higher engagement and conversion rates. So with that being said, what you should look for about your audience, what you need to know about your audience. First, what platforms do they go ahead and use? What times of day and what days of the week are they most active? So a question like that, you'll go ahead and find that once you're on social media, when you're on the platform over time as you post, if you go into your social media analytics, they'll go ahead and tell you what days of the week are your followers most active, what times are they going and engaging. It'll go ahead and show you all that in the analytics. So love me some social media analytics. That could be a whole other different class, but just if you're already on social, and definitely take a peek to go ahead and to see what's happening behind the scenes, because it'll give you a lot of good information. And what time of day are they most likely to engage with your content? So that's another point that's also good to think about. I like to kind of make the comparison of, if you're a more professional leaning business, let's say if you're going ahead and like something that's more education based or something that's more, career development based, a lot of times people will engage with that content, in the morning when they're bright and early and they feel like they can conquer the world, and they're like, ooh, like I can go ahead and do this and that, and I can imagine myself as this, as opposed to when they go ahead and come home from work and they're tired, they're exhausted, they don't want to think about work, they're going to be a lot less likely to engage with content like that, after work hours. They might want to go ahead and do something a little bit more fun, like online shop, or, binge watch some YouTube videos. It's just good to think about the state of mind that somebody would be in the morning versus at night. Then there's also interest. So what is your audience interested in? Specifically, what those interests are that might be relevant to your business, and how you can incorporate those interests into your content. There's also pages. So what types of pages or influencers does your audience follow? You can try to use these pages for inspiration for your own content. I'm not saying going ahead and copying and pasting and completely ripping, the same idea to use for your page, but just using it as a what is it called? A lighthouse. Yeah, that's it. As a lighthouse. So you can kind of just, get a feel of the type of content, are they doing more kind of educational content? Are they doing more, entertaining content, kind of see if you can get, a vibe check, for lack of better words. And then lastly are the pain points and needs. So what are some FAQs or frequently asked questions about your business or your industry that you can answer? You want to come from a place of authority. As a business owner, you are providing a service and you want to make sure that you know about what you're selling and about your industry. So going ahead and answering these questions helps to go ahead and establish yourself as that authority. And can you help your audience go ahead and solve any of their issues? The whole point of social, one of the big pillars, I feel like when it comes to social, especially nowadays, is providing value to your audience. You really want to go ahead and come into every post that you go ahead and make with, is this providing value to my audience? And even when it comes to promotional content, you still want to have that in mind. Okay, so here's a quick, well, actually not necessarily super quick, but here's a little customer profile I went ahead and drew up. You can go ahead and kind of do the same thing for your business. So thinking about, what types of people would be going ahead and consuming your product. So this is a customer profile for a fictitious business called Sustainably Yours. So like, an eco-friendly company that goes ahead and produces, eco-friendly home products, like cleaning or sponges and of the sort. It's a fictitious business, so just eco-friendly home stuff. So I drew up a customer profile of an ideal / a likely customer of such a business. So this is Jessica. She's 29 years old. She's a female. She works as an HR specialist in a tech company in Austin. So thinking about some of her interests, she might be into health and wellness if she's going ahead and shopping at a sustainable, eco-friendly, company. She's conscious about the earth. Maybe she might be conscious about other things, including her own body. She might want to shop local. Again, thinking about that eco-friendly, eco-sustainably conscious. A lot of times, eco-friendly and conscious go hand in hand with local, because the more local you are, the less emissions you're putting out there to go ahead and travel and the sort. And then, of course, sustainability and eco-friendly products. So it's good to think about the ecosystem that your business exists in, what other interests somebody would be into, who would go ahead and support your brand, because those things can tie nicely into the content that you make and also just like your business in general and how you position your business. So in terms of pain points, thinking about, again, from the lens of your business, what type of gripes do they have? So, Jessica, she might be overwhelmed by the amount of information and choices that there are nowadays for sustainable living, because there are so many resources out there. There are so many people saying, this is better, no, this is better, and this is worse than that. And, so she could feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that she has. And also balancing work and a healthy lifestyle. So again, you just want to keep these things in mind when you're going ahead and thinking about what type of content you can go ahead and post out there. If she's overwhelmed by the information and the choices, maybe you can go ahead and think about, as a business owner, Sustainably Yours, maybe my content can be focused on going ahead and creating like succinct guides, for people to go ahead and to use when they go ahead and shop for sustainable products, so it becomes a one-stop shop. So I'm helping to go ahead and solve their overwhelm while also going ahead and directing them to my products to go ahead and to use. So it's solving for both providing the value, but also going ahead and promoting your product at the same time. And then in terms of social media platforms, again, it's always something you want to keep in the back of your mind because, of course, social media marketing. So she'd be on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. What accounts will she be following? Thinking about like Whole30, again, tying into the wellness and nutrition, Eco Warrior, Princess. These are all fake accounts. You don't have to look them up or anything like that. They're all fake. But just, again, thinking about the holistic for the consumer profile. And here's another quick example. This one, you have Darnell, he's 43, male, middle school teacher, lives in Chicago. So this would be a customer profile for a business called Classroom Companion, which would be a education tech kind of company where you're just providing digital resources to teachers to use in the classroom, to help streamline their process, but also to go ahead and help to keep their students engaged. So again, thinking about the ideal, or not necessarily ideal, I hate using that word ideal, more likely customer of your business, and creating a profile for that person. So that way you can go ahead and think about the types of platforms and the content that they would like to go ahead and consume. So in the interest of time, I'll skip over this one and dive straight into the posting techniques and strategies. So to make that the most out of your social media, you want to streamline your posting process as much as you can. This will help to go ahead and maintain a consistent and engaging presence that result in more followers, engagement, and eventually sales. I want to emphasize the word consistent because when it comes to social, consistency really is key. I remember going ahead and seeing somewhere about how, a lot of people like to think about, hitting it big on social, kind of like winning the lottery and just being like, there's gonna be that one viral post and it's gonna go ahead and take off, but people don't realize how much goes ahead, how many posts go into creating that viral moment. A lot of people will, post 100 times, before they go ahead and get to that viral moment sometimes. And, viral moments are nice and all, but they're not necessarily the end goal. I feel like for social, especially for businesses, you really just want to go ahead and create a presence that's there and a way to connect to your community. It's great to go ahead and get that reach, but not necessarily say that you have to go ahead and get viral. But to get to that point, you have to go ahead and show up consistently. So in terms of the type of content that you go ahead and be posting, here are some pillars of types of content that you could look to go ahead and to post. So you have entertaining content, which is king for social media. Most people go ahead and go on social to go ahead and be entertained in some type of way. So these include memes and funny videos. Then you have educational content, which follows closely behind. So these are tips, infographics, tutorials, guides, and articles. Then you have engaging content. So that kind of calls on, checks the box of quizzes and polls and Q&As. A lot of times, most platforms will have some type of integrated kind of quiz/poll in their platform. So you can go ahead and just have people click a button, and it's kind of fun to go ahead and do. And you can show the results to your audience too, so that they can be a part of the journey with you. And then, of course, promotional content. We are, talking about social media for business here. So these include like product updates, new releases for new products, and giveaways. Which giveaways, a little note on giveaways, is a really great way to go ahead and to get new followers and reach. You can go ahead and do something like, chance to win. You have to share this post with 2 to 3 different people. And it starts a chain reaction because other people want to, they might share it with 2 or 3 people. Maybe 2 of those people might want to also go ahead and join, so they might share it with 2 or 3 other people. So while it seems kind of like an easy grab, it really is a good way to go ahead and to get that reach and new followers onto your new page. So little tip there. And then finally, personal content. So that's behind the scenes, going ahead and meet with the team, come with us to, to the new store that we're looking to go ahead and open up, come with us to Home Depot to pick out the materials to go ahead and build with it, come with us to, our warehouse to go and pick out new products. It's just bringing people along the journey with you, as a business owner, or as you go ahead and you make your product, just showcasing all of the behind the scenes. Social media nowadays, a lot of people love transparency. That's really, really big. right now. So it's many ways that you can be transparent with your audience, taking them along the process, showing them how you go ahead and do things. Even sometimes the small stuff that you might go ahead and overlook is like, oh yeah, I do this all the time, like sometimes people really enjoy it, going ahead and watching other people go ahead and just, do their thing, it's a cool thing to go ahead and to watch for a lot of people. So yeah, so general content types. So with those content types, there are also content kind of undertones. So undertones, kind of feelings or, just general, I guess, guidelines that content can fit into. So what kind of content undertones resonate most with audiences? So you have cute stuff. Who doesn't love cute things? Animals, babies, tiny things. Think about, I live over in Queens, so there's an abundance of bodegas where I am, but I always think about like the bodega cats. Like sometimes it's really nice to just go into the bodega and you just see your local neighborhood cat and you're just like, oh, it's so nice. So cute stuff. Then there's humor. So it can be sarcasm, dry, lighthearted, etc. But humor is a way of connecting with people, a great way of connecting with people. Who doesn't love to laugh? Then there's practical advice. So how-tos, what you didn't need to, what you didn't know but need to know, type content. And then finally, inspirational content. So those are personal stories, underdog stories, future plans, dreams, etc. So people can go ahead and get inspired, go ahead and feel like, again, make a personal connection with you. So these are all good content undertones to keep in mind when you make your content, and you can tie both of these two together. So, you could have educational content that goes ahead and features, a really cute cat in the background. It's just, tying those two together can create a really good winning formula, having, the content type with the content undertone. So again, good to keep all this in mind. Okay. Also, a note on that in terms of the content types, you want to have a good content mix. So you don't want to be posting the same thing over and over and over again. A lot of times, you want to keep your audience engaged and interested and on their toes a bit. Yeah, just keeping a good mix in there. You can see I have like a little pie chart over here of just a samples. This is not like this is the end all be all, you need to follow this percentage guide. It's just, a rough kind of percentage that you can go ahead and, based off of, you have meme videos as, the majority of the pie chart to get people entertained, get people engaged, followed by educational videos, followed by polls and behind the scenes. And then finally, you have promotional content at 7%. And I do have it at 7% for a reason, because you don't want to necessarily, you do want to keep straight promotional posts to a limit. You could always go ahead and inject promotions into your other content, but to have a post that's, buy this now, you do want to keep that to a limit. Not to say that you can't ever post it, but you do want to have it as a lower tier in your content mix, Not to say that you can't ever sell your product, because you need to sell your product, of course, but you can go ahead and integrate in other ways without going ahead and be straight up being like, I need you to buy this. That's the soft sell for promotional products. You can go ahead and you can feature your content, you can feature your product in your content without having to have it be the main topic. So that's a little note about content mix. So now moving along, we're going to go ahead and go into the really fun nitty-gritty, and that's winning strategies for each platform. I don't want you to go ahead and take these as kind of just like as gospel, being this, if you do these exact steps, you're going to go ahead and like get all of the customers, but you'll be in a very good place if you follow these steps. So I've broken it down by each platform and into 4 steps for each. So first off, we have Facebook, one of the kings of social. So step 1, you really want to create a Facebook page that is optimized with relevant business information. So you want to include a clear profile picture, a cover photo, and contact details. In terms of contact details, you want to go ahead and make sure it's clear and it's succinct. You want to have, if you have a brick and mortar, put your address, put your phone number, put your website, put your, your hours, you want to make sure that all of your information is easily accessible to people as possible. So that way, if they want to go ahead and they want to buy your product, or if they want to get in touch with you, they don't have to go ahead and go around digging for it, because no one wants to have to go ahead and dig for it. It just creates a barrier for people to go ahead and maybe click off the page because they're like, oh, this is too much for me to have to deal with. Step 2, you want to share a mix of valuable content, emphasis on the value, questions, polls, and share stories that go ahead and foster engagement. Another big point is you want to respond to comments as much as you can. Actually, no, respond to basically most comments except for the ones that go ahead and like are more so trolling you, to keep the engagement active. And also to go ahead and keep the community going. And most social media algorithms across the board are going to go ahead and reward you for going ahead and engaging on the platform. That includes responding to comments, messaging people, liking other people's posts. At the end of the day, social media platforms are businesses themselves. And as the name suggests, as social media platforms, they're in the business of people being social and sharing things and engaging. So the algorithm really rewards people who go ahead and do just that. And again, that goes across the board for all platforms. Then you have step 3. You want to create or join relevant groups to engage with potential customers in your niche. This one is a huge one for Facebook. I love the strategy for Facebook because it's such a direct way for you to go ahead and engage not only people who would definitely be interested in your business, but to also go ahead and kind of streamline your way to an authority position in your niche. There's tons of Facebook groups. I think there's a Facebook group for pretty much everything nowadays. So you just want to find and join the ones that are most relevant to you. And you want to go ahead and offer value by answering questions and sharing insights. I wouldn't necessarily say come off the bat by going ahead and being like, hey guys, here's my business, this is my product, please buy. You want to come in there as, innocently as you can and go ahead and just, answer questions, engage with people in a real authentic way, and naturally over time, you're going to go ahead and build those relationships with people. People are going to go ahead and, people might check out your page, not to say that you can't go ahead and put in, promotional things every now and again, but you do want to go ahead and have that, again, that value up front, promotion in the back, for lack of. Okay, and then last but not least, step 4, use Facebook ads. I like Facebook ads. I probably think that out of all of the social media platforms in terms of the ad ROI, bang for your buck, I find that Facebook is probably one of the better ones. Of course, depending on your audience too, but I love Facebook ads. To target your ideal audience with tailored offers and discounts, and boosting high performing posts. That's also, it's a good low tier way to go ahead and test out Facebook ads, is by going ahead and boosting those high performing posts. Those posts were already going ahead and doing well. Let's say if that one got like, a few more likes than the other ones, it's a good way to go ahead and test to see if, that might go ahead and do well to a larger audience. And also Facebook, they give you the option to go ahead and reach people who are similar to your followers, or people who also might have interest in your page, or to go ahead and do actual manual targeting. So there's a lot of good ways that you can go ahead and test and learn from those ads in terms of learning about your audience. So that's Facebook. If no one has any questions on Facebook, we'll move on to Instagram. So Instagram, step 1 being to, of course, create an account, but you want to craft a clear bio that includes a call to action, like a shop now, book a call, learn more, with a link, and using a branded profile image. So a little bit to unpack there. So clear bio, kind of similar to Facebook, you want to go ahead and include, information that's relevant and clear to your business. But Instagram, you have a lot less space than Facebook to go ahead and to put all that information. You only get a few lines of space that's actually visible. You can always go ahead and do the see more, but I think even with the see more, there's only about 4 or 5 different lines that you can use. So it has to be a lot more succinct and put together. And you want to use emojis. I always like a good emoji in the bio. It just adds some lightheartedness. If your business, of course, is, isn't too buttoned up, but and then including a call to action and a link. So link is, of course, it's very big. Either you can link to your website, you can link to a link consolidation page, something like a link tree. That's link as in like the actual like, click on the link, and then a tree like tree. So it's a website / platform that consolidates all of your links into buttons. So you can go ahead and include the link to, your website. You could include a link to your blog, to a relevant news article that was about your business, and you can have it all on one page, so people can go ahead and swipe through and click buttons to each one on just one page and make it super succinct. So a lot of people use that in their Instagram bios if they don't necessarily have like just one website to go ahead and go to. If you have one website to go to, link it there. If not, you can use something like a link tree. It's great to go ahead and use. And then, yeah, you just want to make sure that, you have your profile image, make sure it's branded. I've seen some business owners go ahead and try to use like, their face or something that's just, random photo. Definitely try to go ahead and make sure that, everything that you put on social media is branded. You want to make sure that you have your logo there and it looks professional. Step 2, you want to share a mix of content formats, stories, keep your brand top of mind, while Reels boost your discoverability with viral content. So it's two separate formats that come together to kind of create a winning strategy. So stories are more for, your followers that are already there to go ahead and keep them engaged and top of mind, kind of like I mentioned like way earlier in the presentation. Keep that awareness about your business kind of just like fresh. While Reels go ahead and help you to branch out to new followers, to go ahead and have your content discovered by people who might not be following you. So you definitely want to have a mix of both. In step 3, you want to go ahead and share behind the scenes content and tips to build authenticity. For Instagram and TikTok, like I mentioned, it definitely skews younger. And again, the younger demographic really likes transparency. So behind the scenes content is chef's kiss. Definitely recommend, and it's very low tier to have to go ahead and do. You don't have to put a bunch of production value behind it. You can just film what you're doing and again, have to build that authenticity. And you want to try to post regularly. I say for most business owners, when you're starting off, if you could at least post once a week, I'm gonna be happy. I would be happy. It's just going ahead and building that schedule of just showing up every week, trying to go ahead and to get to that point and then building from there. If you can go ahead and start once a week, then build it to twice a week. You do want to over time aim to like, 3 times a week if you can. 5, depending on the industry, can be a little excessive, but I feel like at that point, it might be worthwhile to go ahead and hire a freelancer to go and help you out with it. But if you're just doing it by yourself, only, team of 1, definitely just try to aim for like 1 to 2 times per week. Once a week, totally fine. Step 4, if you sell products, use Instagram shopping. I kind of touched on this earlier with Maureen's question, but Instagram shopping, it helps users directly purchase from your posts. So it becomes super easy and super seamless for customers to go ahead and just buy your product without having to go ahead and go from your Instagram page to your website to look for the product that's in the post. It's just a lot of work. And sometimes, people might drop off. They might not want to go ahead and peruse through the website. They might not have time, versus it's very easy to go ahead and be like, ooh, I like that post. I like that shirt in that post. Let me click buy now and purchase. It makes it so much easier. So love Instagram shopping. Okay. If there are no questions on Instagram, I'll move on to TikTok. So TikTok, step 1, aside from building your profile, which is very similar to Instagram profile in a lot of ways, you can kind of use those hand in hand. But step 1 for TikTok would be to keep your videos short. And with a few exceptions, especially now that TikTok has leaned more into long form video, it's definitely not king on TikTok. I know a lot of people like to use long form, especially for like storytelling. But for the most part, keeping your video short is, a very straightforward winning strategy to go with. 15 to 30 seconds. I wouldn't recommend longer than 30 seconds. Honestly, most of the time I usually go ahead and tell people to go ahead and try to keep it to 20, if they can. and you want it to be engaging and fun, emphasis on, engaging, and using trending sounds and meme formats to really tap into TikTok's culture, which it does have its own culture and its own ecosystem. I recommend anybody who's looking to go ahead and get into TikTok for their business to definitely go ahead and try to use it on a personal level so you can kind of get the ins and outs of what's happening on the platform and what's trending and what the culture is like. So just do your research with this, especially because it's a newer platform. So there's things that are evolving constantly and the trends go very quick. Then step 2, show the behind the scenes again, going back to Instagram with the transparency. That's essential on TikTok. So you want to go ahead and show you making the product, fun team moments, a day in the life. They love authenticity. Step 3, TikTok, you can really just go crazy in terms of posting on TikTok. There's not a ton of fatigue when it comes to content on TikTok. So you can go ahead and post 1 to 3 times a day. Honestly, even me personally, I don't think I could personally do that myself 3 times a day. It's pretty excessive. But it just shows you how much you can really just push the gas pedal on TikTok when it comes to content. The more you post, the better the algorithm understands your content. Again, don't feel like you have to go ahead and post every single day, though. Going back to that 1 time per week, that's a great place to go and start and to stay at. Social media, it really is just a tool to go and have another place for your business to exist outside of, your brick and mortar or your website, so even if you, post once a week, or even if you fall off for a little bit, as long as your TikTok is always still going to be there and your Instagram is always still going to be there until, unless the companies fold, but it'll still be there until then. So people can always go ahead and find it. They might be less likely to find it if, you stop posting for a year or 2 years, but it's really evergreen. And it's just a digital post for your business to exist. So as long as you just get on there and you just get some stuff out there, again, all is good. And step 4, similar to Instagram, if you sell products, you can use TikTok Shop. So users can directly purchase your goods for your post and shop for your products. Moving on to LinkedIn. So you go ahead and you have step 1 would be ensure your LinkedIn company page and your profile is 100% complete with professional picture and a logo, detailed description, relevant services listed. So that's the thing with LinkedIn, is that the fact that there are 2 sides to it. You have your professional page where you go ahead and showcase your industry, also your professional experience and the years worked and etc. That's one side, and the other side is your company page. They exist as 2 different pages, but they connect together. And a lot of times those people will go ahead and be like founder or CEO at X, Y, and Z company. Know that being the fact that those are 2 linked together and it's visible to other people, that you want to make sure that both of those pages are nice and Loctite. So both of them are very professional looking, clean. Again, it's a professional platform, so you do want to come correct on the platform. No spelling mistakes or anything like that. Step 2, you want to post a mix of content like industry news, success stories, in-depth articles that establish yourself as an authority in your industry. Again, going back to the authority, that's very, very key on LinkedIn, coming with just information. People are on the platform, it's a lot of professionals, so they're not necessarily going to go ahead and get too fatigued about news stories and updates and everything like. So you could just, again, authority, articles, success stories, anything that's going to establish yourself as like, this person knows what they're talking about. Step 3, post consistently. LinkedIn, the fatigue in terms of posting is you can overpost on LinkedIn for sure. Again, it's a professional network, so you want to go ahead and make sure you're not spamming people with content. So there, I wouldn't suggest posting more than like 2 to 3 times a week. So you can really go ahead and go low effort on LinkedIn in terms of posting. A better strategy for LinkedIn, of course you want to post, but it would be more about actually making those direct connections and engaging with connections by commenting on their post, you know, even directly DMing them with offers. You know, it would be more about conversing with people. And then step 4, you want to join relevant groups inside your industry and use LinkedIn's targeting ad platform to reach potential clients. So yeah. And then finally, we have YouTube. So step 1 for YouTube is using relevant keywords in your channel's description. So similar to other like Instagram bios and Facebook bios, you want to make sure that you have keywords, include a clear call to action, whether it be subscribe to my channel, shop, you know, my products over here, and organizing your content into playlist. That's another tip across the board for all social platforms. You want to try to make it as easy as possible for the algorithm to understand what your page, what your business is all about. So making sure that you emphasize, you put those keywords about your business anywhere that you can, you know, so that way the algorithm can read your page and they can go ahead and know who to recommend your content to, you know, because if your page is all over the place, if, you know, let's say if you had, you know, 2 businesses in the past and you're like, oh, I'm just going to use the same Instagram for this and, you know, keep the other posts because I had likes on the other posts and I don't want to take them down. Like, it's just going to confuse the algorithm. You want to make sure that you're clear about what you're doing and what your business is about. So just keep it succinct and get those keywords in there. Step 2 would be to post long form value-driven content such as tutorials. Again, for YouTube, you could probably, a lot of people, you know, especially influencers, they go ahead and post more frequently. But you can aim for 1 to 2 times per week, especially for the long form content, because it's going to take you a bit longer to go ahead and to edit and to make something come together, especially because it's long form content. But one of the good things, that's one of the good things about YouTube is like it's a little bit slower in terms of the timeline for how frequently you have to post. And for YouTube, you also want to create engaging thumbnails and use video timestamps. Video timestamps are basically as you're watching a video, sometimes you'll notice on YouTube, there'll be like these little like cards over by like the progress bar that you can click on to skip different chapters. I love when I see that personally myself, but it really goes and helps the algorithm to know exactly, again, those keywords, what your business is about, what you're talking about. So definitely try to include those in there. Step 3, you want to go ahead and leverage YouTube Shorts for quick tips, behind the scenes or teaser videos under 60 seconds to reach a wider audience. So similar to, actually it's a bit similar, no. But you want to go ahead and the short form content can go ahead and be used for reach versus the long form content used more for engagement with your core audience. So actually, yeah, similar to Instagram stories being more so like long form YouTube videos, and then Reels being more like YouTube Shorts in terms of their use case for, you know, reaching people. And then step 4, you'll see this in a lot of different YouTube videos, but you always want to ask viewers to like, comment, and share and subscribe. It really actually does actually make a difference. I find myself sometimes, you know, when I am watching somebody's video, when they do go ahead and ask, I'm like, you know, you're right, I kind of do like your content. I should go ahead and like and subscribe. So it goes and helps to go ahead and get that engagement at the end of videos. And also pinned comments are great too, to go ahead and, you know, to guide people to other content or offers, you know, to go ahead and give them, you know, those coupon codes, or to go ahead and direct them to your shop or different products. So there's so many different places where you can go ahead and place information on YouTube. So you just want to leverage them all, whether it's pinned comments inside the description, on your post page. So leverage as many as you can. So I think that concludes the winning strategies, the deep dive portion of this. Thank you all for sticking with me through this. We're just going to go ahead and wrap it up with some general tips and tricks and some QR codes to additional resources for you guys to take a look at before we go into the Q&A. If anybody has any questions they want to go ahead and ask. So general tips and tricks. This is going to be kind of, again, repetitive, but so you want to be consistent. I want to emphasize consistent. Maintain a regular posting schedule to keep your audience engaged and increase your content reach. So try to mark out 1 to 2 days a week. You know, it could be a Sunday. where you go ahead and just knock out just, everything social. You can go ahead and plan your posts, you can schedule a post. That's the great thing about nowadays is almost every single social platform you can schedule things. So even if you're just going ahead and doing content stuff, social media stuff on Sunday, you can still look like, you're active all the time by going ahead and scheduling things for like a Monday to go out or like a Wednesday or Friday, really whenever you want. Providing value, creating valuable and relevant content that educates, entertains, or solves a problem for the audience. You just want to be there to go ahead and be a steward of value to your audience. And then last but not least, just go for it. Most successful businesses on social media start from really humble beginnings. So you don't feel like, I don't have the latest equipment or gear. I need to get a professional camera. I need to get a microphone. Just go for it. Just show up. And every time that you go ahead and show up, your content is just going to go ahead and just get a little bit better. You go ahead and constantly make tweaks, whether it's to the captions or to the description or to the angles or to the lighting. Like it's just going to keep getting better. So just go with it and you can just improve with time. So don't even stress about it. Okay. Oh, I see we have a question. Okay. Do you have any advice for protecting your content on social media so it doesn't get pirated by another page? For that, I probably would say the best thing you could probably do is just include your logo somewhere or like a watermark, just like you would for other content. You can go ahead and put it at the bottom, the top, or somewhere where it can't necessarily go ahead and get easily clipped. I'm not to say that, people won't necessarily steal, I mean, not to say people won't find ways, because people always will find ways, to go ahead and try to steal from other people or pirate from other people, but you can reduce the chances by going ahead and creating like a watermark, including your logo somewhere within the content. And at the end of the day, your content, your strategy, your overall business, like no one can directly replicate it. So hopefully, it doesn't become a thing where someone just tries to copy and paste your entire business onto another page. But I would say watermarks would probably be your best bet to go. So I hope that answered your question. On that, you can use this QR code to go ahead and go and check out. I have a little social media planning template that you can go ahead and use to plan out your posts and plot out your ideas for your upcoming post. And I just find it helpful to go ahead and write down just ideas and inspiration. You can always go ahead and come back to it and add to the list and build on it. But it's something that you can just use as like a little starting off point to go ahead and brainstorm what you're going to go ahead and do. And I think I have like a list of like 30. You can, add on to it, but it's just a little guide that you can use. Oh, here, I can go ahead and pop it into the chat right now. So anybody who can't scan the code can go ahead and just do it in the chat.
There is another question in the Q&A.
Oh, okay, let's see. Okay, so great to have all these platforms covered. Thank you, Marie. Is it okay to use Adobe stock images as your company's logo to use on your website or social media? Or is it better to hire someone? So for your logo, she's asking about your logo that you use on social media and your website. I definitely don't recommend, unfortunately, using Adobe stock images. I know it probably would be an easy grab to go ahead and just, to grab it just as a placeholder, but there's a lot of good resources that you can use to, one, not only have to not pay somebody if you don't want to pay somebody. Actually, you can use, one of my favorite ones to use is Canva, which I made this whole presentation in. Canva, canva.com. And they have a bunch of logo templates that you can go ahead and use. You can literally type into the search box and search up, bakery logo or, a logo for fitness company or anything of the sort. You can look up pretty much any logo. You can click on it and you can go ahead and make tweaks to it. So you can type in your business name. You can go ahead and change the colors to your brand colors. So definitely recommend Canva. Don't recommend Adobe stock images. Or like I said, or you can hire somebody if you would like to. But I think Canva really goes ahead and does a great job, and it's free. They do have a paid tier that you can go ahead and do. I think it's like, I can't remember how, I think it's like 10 to like 14. It might be like $10 a month $10 or $12 a month for the premium, but you don't have to get the premium. And I think usually when you first sign up, they give you 30-day free trial. So just use that. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So no Adobe. Yeah, great. Okay, awesome. And then moving along, one other resource. So two other ones. So one, this QR code to the left with the blue dot. That one is a QR code to the upcoming in-person workshops that we have going on. So we have a few coming up this Saturday. I think we have Microsoft Word for Business. So that's, helpful for invoicing and for a lot of, paperwork type stuff for business. Then we also have MWBE, which is Minority and Women-Owned Business certification. So if any of you are minority business owners or women-owned business owners, then feel free to go ahead and come to the class. You sit on a panel and you can ask questions from people who are already MWBE certified and figure out what type of opportunities that might open up for you. So it's a great panel. That's recommend Miss Kenya. She hosts it. And then there's also a class with me. Oh, sorry, Miss Kenya. And I also have a class too, digital marketing for businesses. So the digital marketing class covers over a bit more than social media. It covers, search with Google, it covers up your website, basically other digital avenues for you to go ahead and advertise and promote your business aside from social. I also cover over social, but it's more of the whole ecosystem in general. So there's that. And then to the right, I also have office hours. So entirely free, 45 minutes, one-on-one, virtual or in person, and we can go over basically anything that's digital marketing or social media help that you need for your business. So I'll pop both of those into the chat too, just in case if you can't access the QR codes. 1 second. Okay, awesome. Okay, those are into the chat. Okay, cool. And then I see we have another question. Oop. Oh, okay. No, actually we don't. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, I will be sharing these slides with everybody so you can go ahead and access this page for video references, and then you can also look back at the slides in case if you missed anything. So this is basically just tutorials about pretty much the basics of all the social platforms, about setting it up, about creating posts on all the platforms I discussed. So it's just a handy guide for you to go ahead and go through the technical weeds, especially because I can't be there with you in person. We only have an hour and a half on this, so I can't go through every person to help them set up or make a post. So that's that for that. And then yeah, that concludes that. We ended, I think we got a good 15 minutes ahead of schedule. We love that. But thank you all for going ahead and attending. If there's any other questions that you guys have, you can feel free to go ahead and pop it inside the Q&A. If not, then I hope that you have an awesome night. And best of luck to all of you and your businesses, potential businesses, or even just, social media pages in general. And yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.